Okay, so let's talk about themes and variants and how we can format our entire presentation using them. So let's say that you started out putting together this presentation just basically from scratch, and you didn't use anything fancy as far as an initial theme or template. So in other words, when you went to create the presentation, you went over to File and you hit New, and you didn't really bother to go with anything that that Microsoft offered you here. You just, I just want to start from nothing, from scratch. So you clicked on to blank presentation like that, and that's what you end up with here. So technically, this thing has a theme built into it. Let me just go back in there again. All right, so like that. So in essence, this has a theme, all right, but the theme is very plain. There's really no color. It's a very standard font that we're using, the Calibri font. No graphics or anything like that in it. No color other than just being black and white. So if you say, I have to apologize, my screen recording software here, every time I pause it, it kind of kicks me out of the actual file there. Sorry about that. But anyway, so what's happening is that really don't have much of anything going on here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to kind of close this up and take us back to what we had originally on the screen. So basically this presentation was brought about by using what we had just seen on the screen as our basis. All right, so the theme is what kind of drives the overall look or the overall personality of the presentation. Now, if I took this, I already put this together. We have about 12 slides here, and I'd like to kind of jazz it up a little bit. So what we'll do is we'll go over here to the Design tab, all right? There we have a number of different themes that have come with the program. And there's a few in there that I've added myself, and you'll see how we do that later on. But for the most part, if I click on the More button here, this gives me an idea of what we have. So there's my original, and as we go through here, you can kind of see how this really kind of changes up. So if I went in there and maybe chose one of my more favorite ones, which was the Berlin one, and you click onto that, we get this. So by applying that theme to our presentation, it's pretty much changed the entire look of it. So the font is different. We've got graphics in there. We have a different font for the bulleted text, different color background. It's really kind of an amazing thing. And aside from just that, you also have, in a lot of cases with these themes, variations, or what they call variants of the theme, and that's what you see up here. And depending on which theme you've picked, has a certain number of variants. Now, if I click on the little More button here, it pretty much just kind of shows me that that's all that I really have, is just those 4 there, all right? So if I were to say, well, maybe I'd like to go with the blue one instead, I can click onto that. Whole thing changes. I can go with the green, same thing with the purple, and so forth. So I go back and forth with all that. That's pretty cool. Now if I go back into the themes again, and I say, okay, maybe I'll go with something else here, I can kind of hover over it, maybe go with this one here, click onto it, and that's pretty wild there. All right, now, the thing with this is that we've got the different slides that we have in here, and it might end up being that maybe the theme that you've picked, especially with the graphics that come with it, they might be getting in the way, and you might say, well, maybe that might not be the best one to go with. But nonetheless, that's what you get here. All right, let me do it some more time. I'll go back in here again, and let's say I'll go with maybe this one here, okay, called Parallax. All right, so on that one, you'll see how they all change. Some of them are not very impressive at all, I'll be honest with you, but it's nonetheless, it's still a great way of totally revamping your presentation. Now you'll notice how when we applied whatever theme, it actually did it to all of the slides. All right, so we didn't really have any control over that initially. So let me go back in here, I'm going to change this thing back to our original that we had, which is this one right here. So, and the other thing too that I'm going to do at this point, you see how this design ideas keeps on coming up? I don't want to use this. Stop suggesting ideas until I restart PowerPoint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that off, get rid of it, so it doesn't keep on popping up and bugging me. Probably bugging you too. All right, so anyway, so there it is with a very basic, very nonchalant, very boring, I guess, theme or personality or look to all this. Now, if I decided that I'd like to maybe take the title slide, which is the first slide here, and apply a theme, but only to that particular slide, here's how we would go about doing it. So first of all, we would go in here and we'd say, okay, well, first of all, let me just back up here. You want to be on that slide, okay? So then what we'll do is we'll go back here and we'll click on the More button. That'll give me a list of all my themes that I have so far. Now, what I can do here is if I just kind of point to this one, as you saw before, it will apply it to everything. But if I point to it, right-click it, all right, and apply it to the selected slides, right? So I click onto that, and there it goes. And it only does it to that one. So now, for the rest of these, I can do other themes as well. Now, let's say that for the next 3 slides, I'd like to apply maybe a different theme. So what I can actually do is click onto the first one here, right? Hold down the Control key, click on the second one and the third one just like that. And then once I've done that, I can go back up into here, hit my More button, and figure out which one I want to go with. All right, so I got a number of different ones in here. If I decide that maybe I want to go with one of the custom ones that I have created, and I'll show you how to do that a little bit later on, I can actually just kind of point to that one, right-click it, and tell it to apply it to what? Apply it to selected slides, see? Click on that, and there we go. Now, keep in mind that this particular theme here, the one with the little sun icon on it, nice coloring and all that, that actually was something that I added to the system, all right? I want to show you now how you can actually create new themes that you can then use later on in other presentations. So the key is that you come across a presentation that has a really nice look to it. In other words, it just has a great appeal to it, and you say to yourself, wow, I'd really like to maybe make my next presentation or so look just like that, all right, or maybe a variation of it, all right. How would you take the, I guess, the theme or copy the theme out of that other presentation to put it into your list of themes over here that you could then later on apply to whatever presentation? So here's how you'd go about doing it. First of all, you'd want to open up the presentation that you had your eye on. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up one of them here. Let's see. I want here called Maps. I'm going to go ahead and open that up, and you'll see that pop up there. So there it is, okay? So what this one is obviously Maps. It's got a little compass on there and so forth. Now, I like the overall look of this, all right? I like the graphic. I like the font. I like how the bullets are laid out, how they look, and I just like everything about it. So I want to take this and make a theme out of it, you know, or basically extract the theme from this, make a copy of it, and add that to my collection of themes. All right, so we're going to basically take this look and add it to our list over here. All right, so the way we do it is we have it up on the screen like we have, right? And then what you'll do is you'll go over to the Design tab. You'll go over into your Themes area. Oh, I lost it there. Sorry about that. All right. So now go over here, hit this little drop down, right? And down here we have something here called Save Current Theme. So I click onto that. Kind of opens up a little dialog box here. Now, this one here is actually that one that I had shown you before. That was one of my custom ones. This is another one. So it gives you just a default name of Theme 1. You can give it a name if you want to. In this case, maybe I'll call it, you know, Maps or something like that. All right. Now, once I've done that, I go ahead and hit Save, and now it's one of my themes. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this up. Don't need it anymore. There it is. And let's say now I want to take that particular theme and add it to a few more of my slides. Let's say from slide number 5 through 8. Okay, so I select those, all right? And then I go back to my little drop down. And you'll see now in the custom area is the one here called Maps. Here's the other one. That one was called Theme 4 that you saw. But this is the one we just did. Now I go ahead and I do a right click on that. And I tell it to apply it to selected slides. And there we go. And you can also see that there are no variations of this. We don't have any variants to choose from. But still, nonetheless, there it goes. So it's pretty slick there. So we've got the Berlin, we've got the little sunshine one, which is just our theme 4, and then we have this one here called Map. So up to this point, what we have are about 3 colorful different themes, and then we also have the basic one here that we kind of start out with. All right. Now, just to give you an idea of what we have so far, if we go back to the Home tab, all right, and I go over here to New Slide, all right, and click onto that. Not only do I have the ability of inserting a slide using a particular layout, but also where it gives me that particular theme. So this was the Maps one we just did, obviously. It says Maps there, right? And then we have the Office theme, which is just the standard one that we had. And look at that, there's the Berlin one, right? And then we also then have the theme 4, all right? So at this point, once you've reached this point, you can actually create new slides and specifically choose a layout theme that or a themed layout, I guess, that you'd like to use. So give me an idea here. So I go back down, let's say the very bottom here, on the slide number 12 here, and I go ahead and I say, okay, I want to add a new slide. And I think I want to use one of the Berlin type looks. So what I'll do is I'll click on a new slide, go down to my Berlin area here, right? And then I can pick the type of slide that I want to go with. So let's say I'll go with the title and content. So I click onto that. There's my title and content just for that one. Now, if I later on decide that I'd like that title, I still want to use the title and content because maybe I've already put stuff in here, but now I'd like to change that to having a different theme. Still have the same layout, but a different theme. Then what I can do is I can click onto it, right? Go over to my Design tab, right? And I'll hit my little drop down. And let's say I want to go with Berlin, or maybe I want to go with the kind of like that sun one. So I'll do this one here. So all I have to do is just do a right click on it, all right? Apply to selected slide, and there we go. Now another thing we can do as well is once you've kind of come up with all these different applications of different themes and so forth, you finally come to the conclusion that maybe this is a little too distracting, and maybe you'd like to just go back to just having a single theme throughout your entire presentation. So what you can actually do, it really doesn't matter which slides you happen to be on. You go back into your themes here and you say, okay, I think I like to go with the theme for the sun theme, this one right here, for all of my slides. Now, what will happen is if I just go in here and I just click on a theme, under this theme 4 here, just click onto that, it's just going to change that one, the one that I happen to be on. I'm going to go ahead and just hit undo, just to kind of get back to exactly where we were. What I want to do instead is I'll hit the More button here, right? I'll go to the one I want to go with, which is the theme 4. Now what I'll do, instead of just clicking it with the left mouse button, I'll do a right click, which will then give me the ability of either applying it to the selected slide, which is just the first one, this one we did already, or apply it to all slides, see? So if I click on to apply to all slides, then it pretty much overrides all of the other themes that have been applied to the other slides. So that's pretty much it, all right, as far as just working with the themes. We're going to be doing more with this in other videos, but this is I think the more important aspect that you need to kind of realize about the whole program is to be able to do this kind of thing. Now, what I want to do, and I didn't emphasize it enough, I don't think, towards the beginning, but I want to show you how you would take or copy the theme from another presentation into your little battery arsenal of themes up here. Now, the thing I kind of left out before was that a lot of you might be working at companies where they have a particular theme already. There's a presentation type that they always want you to use, a certain kind of theme. It might have certain colors to it, certain graphics and things like that. And what happens with a lot of people is they end up putting together just a presentation from scratch, not maybe using the template that the company provides to be able to come up with it. So let's just say that this type of look here was the look that your company wants to have. Now, if you had started with the file that they supply you that has this in it, then you would have put your file into that. In other words, you would have put your presentation together based on that file. The problem is that maybe you didn't do that, and you've got a number of presentations that you made where they're just having that plain old black and white look. How would you very quickly be able to take the look that the company wants you to have and apply that to all of these other presentations? How would you make that happen? Or maybe somebody did use the template, one of you used it out there, but at the same time you find out that there's a newer template that they'd rather you use. Well, then how do you take what you have and get it to back up to that next level of how they want you to make it look like? Well, the deal is that you would bring up the presentation file that has that newest look to it, and you would copy the theme out of that, post it into here, and then be able to apply it then to your existing one. So give you an example. I'll just do it just one more time. So then what you would do then is you go ahead and open up the newest look file that you want to be working with here. So open up this next one here. You'll see it come up here, and there it is. Okay. So you want this to it. All right. So how do I get let me give you an example. I'm going to show you real quick here. If you look at the different layouts, so they all have that graphic at the top of the lady and so forth. So there you have it. Okay. So how do I get that so where I can apply this to other presentations that I have? Well, as we saw before, what you'll do is you have it up on the screen like this. We would go back into the design, go back into the drop down more button here, go down to where it says save current theme. Okay. And we'll just type in maybe Prez there for president. Okay. And then once we've done that, all right, we go and you can see the other two we have here, right, from the last time. Hit save, and that's it. All right. So now I'm going to close this up. There we have it. So then you'll already see the theme up there already, but a lot of times it'll start dropping down or wherever. It'll go somewhere, but it might not always be on that first row. So now here's your presentation as you currently have up here, and you want that newest of acceptable looks that the company wants. So, or that your company wants. So what we do is we would normally hit the more button, but because it's there, we can actually just point to that and click it, and bingo, it applies it all. So there it goes. Everything's all in there laid out for you just right. Right? And then if later on you decide, okay, I want to change it to something else, again, all you have to do is go back into design, go to your more button here, find the other look that you want, click it, there it goes. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. And then finally, and I'll let you guys go after this one, you want to get rid of you just want to go back to the original that you had as far as that theme goes, right? So we'll go back to the more button there. There was our original, plain old boring, right? Right click it, apply it to selected slides or apply it to all slides. Well, in this case, we want to apply it to all slides because we didn't really select anything. So we go and click onto that, and there we go, back to square one. So hopefully that helps you. This next video coming up, we're going to be getting into the slide masters and so forth, and we'll get a little bit deeper into the themes here. But if you understand this, then you're on good footing to move ahead here. So I appreciate you watching the video. Take care.